Welcome back, everybody, to another Tuesday night episode of the Take Two podcast. We're happy you're with us. We are your Frame brothers, as always. James Frame, accompanied by Reed Frame. Be talking all things football. We got an episode that's going to talk about the Pro Bowl and the NFL honors that'll be coming up here shortly before the Super Bowl next week. But yeah, we're happy you're here. Always happy you're here. Welcome back. If you guys like these videos, obviously, please leave us some feedback in the comments. Leave us a like if you like this kind of content, if you like some more of it. We're always going to be here on Tuesdays. Always tune in. But yeah, without too much more going on, we'll jump right in. I think we'll start with the Pro Bowl read. What are
Yeah.
your overall thoughts on the Pro Bowl?
Um, I don't like it. I mean, you can definitely tell a lot of people don't like it.
Right.
I like the idea of the Pro Bowl, and then it just comes down to the players. It's the same thing as what we're seeing in the NBA's All-Star game. It's not worth it to them to play an extra game at their full effort. I do like how they made it so that I do like how they made it so that the flag football it makes them try a little harder because there's less risk of an injury. I know there's a few ideas to make it matter. So like, hey, we get rid of the random place for the Super Bowl, and the winner of the Pro Bowl is the home field advantage for the Super Bowl. Then players have something to play for. But then the Pro Bowl needs to be played at the beginning of the season or something like that. There's a lot of things I've heard about the Pro Bowl to make players try. I really don't think there is a way you could get all these players to try their absolute hardest.
Yeah, I hate the Pro Bowl. I'll just be straight up. I it's not entertaining to watch. I know they added all these like extra games and stuff in. I watched it the first couple years. I think it's more like focused for like kids, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can be fun to tune into if that's your thing. Obviously, I'm not hating on it. It's just not my thing. I want to see football. I tune in to see these guys actually play real football, not these kind of games and stuff like that. So also, I didn't want to see the Pro Bowl like eliminated from like a stat in players' careers.
100% agree.
I'm so
100%.
sick and tired of, oh, he's a four-time Pro Bowler, but three of those he was like a replacement for somebody else. Like, why does that count towards somebody's stats?
And if it's someone's stats, the fans should not be able to vote on it. That's my opinion. I don't think we should have a say in a stat in someone's career. Like if someone gets in the NFL because they made a Pro Bowl every year they played, that's ridiculous. The fans got them into the Hall of Fame then.
Right. Yeah. It's just so a good example of this. I have two good examples of this. One, this year, Josh Allen was, we'll go through all the starters as well. So stick with me here. But Josh Allen was one of the quarterbacks from the AFC that made the Pro Bowl. He's electing to not go. I don't know the reasoning why. I don't know if he just doesn't want to. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if there's a contract thing going on. Don't know, don't care. He's being replaced by Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson now gets an additional Pro Bowl added to his resume when he calls it the end of his career. He did not deserve that Pro Bowl in the stat sheet because he wasn't elected. It's just he was a replacement. That my second example is Tyler Huntley. That year
Last
that
year.
Lamar
Was it last
Jackson
year?
got hurt, I don't know,
Yeah.
3 years ago.
I remember it though.
He was like a replacement for somebody else, and now he has a Pro Bowl selection in his like resume when like he didn't deserve it. He wasn't one of the top three quarterbacks in the AFC. Like I hate it. I just hate that we add that, and it's like it used to mean something too, right? Like when I was growing up, like before, even when you were like really young, like that it was like a big honor to go, and it was like this big thing, and now it means nothing.
Yeah, it's just players out there.
It's a
I
popularity
get
contest. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
that's exactly what it is. I mean, I don't know if this is true. I didn't look at the votes, but I think I heard that Travis Kelce got more votes than Brock Bowers.
I don't know either. I'd have to look up the
I don't
exact
have the
count on
votes right
that.
in
But
front
I
of me,
think
but
there was
if
at one point that was correct. I know that.
yeah, I don't know if it finished. If
Yeah,
that
I don't know
was
either.
it shouldn't be that way. That proves it's a popularity contest. I mean, you got all the
Swifties.
girls. the
Yeah.
Swifties coming in and voting for Kelsey, and I get it. And that's why I don't know if fans should really be voting for this. I mean, there's a lot of controversy like with the Heisman, like the reporters get to vote. And I know there's a lot of controversy with that. And then the fans, like just with the Heisman in general, if the fans got to vote, I bet you Ashton Genty won it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. He was
Yeah,
definitely the more popular of the two.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the fans. I mean, me as a fan, I like being able to choose who goes to the Pro Bowl. Because my opinion is the only one that matters, and everyone else should be voting for the same guys I vote for. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think we're in a very similar headspace when it comes to the Pro Bowl. Obviously, there's people out there who like the Pro Bowl. We're not taking a dig on you. Obviously, they have it on TV for a reason. They obviously get good ratings. People like it. That's fine. As a diehard football fan, not my thing. That's all it comes down to. So
Yeah.
we're gonna dive into the rosters, who was selected, who the replacements are for the handful of people that elected not to go for whatever reason. So starting in the AFC, I'll start with the people that um, were elected, and then we'll go from there. Do you think they should have been there? Do you think they were somebody that snubbed?
We should go position by position.
Yeah, so we'll start with quarterback on the AFC side. You got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I No argument there. I think they nailed it.
Deserved.
Right.
100% deserved. Fans nailed this one.
Yeah,
Now we
that's
run into the problem where it's, hey, I don't want to go play in the Pro Bowl. I got an injury. We just talked about this. How do I feel about players sitting out? Uh, I honestly, we hate the Pro Bowl. I don't care if you sit out. My honor system, you're here before on my honor system. You're here still if you sit out of the Pro Bowl.
the thing is like if I was a player and I had the same mentality about how I feel about the Pro Bowl now, like I'd probably sit out of it. Like I think it's dumb. I don't want to go compete in it. Like
If no one
it's
else
dumb.
is trying, why would I try?
Right. Yeah. It's just, yeah. So Josh Allen's replaced by Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson's replaced by Drake May. Good for the young guy to get in there, I guess, to meet some people and kind of learn from some veterans, I guess, Drake May. I mean, he had a great season, not Pro Bowl level season, but is what it is, I guess. Yeah. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, all deserving. They all three had great years. So I have no complaints with those three that were actually elected there.
I agree.
Jumping to the running backs, you got Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, with Derrick Henry being replaced by James Cook. Again, I don't have anything that I want to critique from these three. You know, Joe Mixon kind of fell off at the end of the season, but overall, I think he had a really good season, better than like almost everybody predicted him to have. Obviously, Derrick Henry is in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. So, yeah, what are you gonna say there? And then Jonathan Taylor was like, yeah, I guess he's just like the third best option. I don't know.
And honestly, I think James Cook is the fourth. So I like that James Cook came
Yeah,
and replaced Derrick Henry. So in my opinion, the running backs here, it's great. I think they did a great job.
yeah, I don't have any complaints about James Cook either. He's a great running back. So it's not like Drake May who somehow snuck in there. I don't know about that.
Moving to fullback, I feel like the fullback we're gonna see fullbacks on both sides, and I bet you can guess the NFC fullback right now because there's only really two fullbacks I could name in the NFL, and
Is
it's
it, is
these
it
two
Kyle
guys.
Juszczyk?
It's got to be. Who else would it
So,
be?
yeah, well, that's my point. Um, is Kyle Juszczyk gonna get into the Hall of Fame just based on Pro Bowls? Like you said before, he just has won it every year because he's like the only
These two,
fullback left.
Patrick Ricard and Kyle Juszczyk. Not only are they the only fullbacks people know, they're the only fullbacks people knows because they're the only fullbacks that get used.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
mean, can you imagine going your whole career just going to the Pro Bowl every year because you're one of two fullbacks in the NFL?
and they're both on the NFC or AFC, so like they just
Why
have
is this
shoe
a
in.
thing?
It's just a shoe in.
It's I mean, I have no complaints about the position, even though it's like teams don't even have fullbacks anymore.
Yeah,
Like you,
like
you can just use like a tight end or like the Titans were using Jeffrey Simmons down at the goal line, which I love big man fullbacks, defensive tackles coming in. I love that.
yeah, I love that too. But like you said, I can't come up with a guy that could replace Patrick Ricard, so he's got to be the only one that gets in there. Like, could you name an AFC fullback for me right now?
Um, I don't know his first name. Matlock on the Chargers. He's like 44. He's a big boy. He's like 350 pounds. I think he plays like defensive tackle too.
Oh,
for the
well, no,
Chargers.
like I'm saying just fullback. Like Patrick Card only plays fullback.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't think there is anybody else that like
Yeah.
just plays fullback. Like,
Like their only position is fullback. When you go on Madden, it's just fullback.
yeah, it's just
It's a
such a waste of a roster spot, if
it's
you
a
ask me.
dying position. Like, but if you use them, there's like Kyle Juszczyk is a good part of that San Francisco offense.
Yeah, but like Kyle Juszczyk is like a bad Taysom Hill.
Or
Like
is he?
Taysom Hill is essentially just like a fullback that can do more.
But I wouldn't no, because Taysom Hill couldn't block like Kyle Juszczyk.
He blocks all the time.
Not as good as Kyle Juszczyk.
I would argue that he does.
I think Kyle Juszczyk's a better. He's a bigger dude for sure.
Are
I
we
think
really sitting here just going to argue about fullbacks for 10 minutes?
this might be the most entertaining part of the whole episode.
This is what the people came for. They came for the
I'm
fullback.
passionate about my fullbacks, man. Fullbacks are cool.
It's because you are a fullback.
All right, fullbacks are cool. You're telling me if you're 4th and 1 in NCAA or Madden, you're not running fullback dive? You're guaranteed to get it with fullback dive.
No.
You cannot stop fullback dive in any game.
You can just shift your whole defensive line
It
in.
doesn't stop it.
Oh, it stops.
No, it doesn't.
It stops.
Fullback dive is the best play in football.
This is the real world.
It is real world. Let me be an offense coordinator with Patrick Ricard. I promise you, I'll score every drive because we're gonna be averaging 5 yards a carry.
All right. Moving on. I want to get off the fullbacks. We got too much to talk about other than fullback. Wide receivers in the AFC, Jamar Chase, easy.
Deserved.
Jerry Judy, surprise name here. You got Nico
But
Collins. You also have Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is sitting out due to injury. Ryan Thomas Jr. is replacing him, which I think Ryan Thomas Jr. should have made it
I think
anyways.
Zay Flowers should be the one replacing Brian Thomas, in my opinion.
Right, right. I think like Jerry Judy's the only one that I'd have to think and see if I could find somebody. If I had a
But
whole
I,
list, I
I
don't know if I
think
could find somebody.
I think Jerry Judy, you're just like, hey, he's on the Browns. He kind of sucks. But if you look at the stats, I think he had over 1,000 yards, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think
had
he
a
did.
sneak. I don't know if he had 1,000. He had a sneakily good year this year.
I think he had 1,000.
He might have.
But again, if you go look at the stats, you're like, hey, Jerry Judy actually put up pretty good numbers. And like you said, I couldn't really come up with a replacement like right now.
Not off the
Uh,
top of my head. If you give me a list, I'm sure I could find somebody that was more deserving of it, in my opinion. But
Yeah, but Jerry Judy's sneakily good year. Nico Collins, good with that. Jamar Chase, so I think Jamar Chase should have been a shoe-in, right? I'm glad he's number 1. Amazing year by Jamar Chase. And then I think Brian Thomas is the second, maybe third. Nico Collins above, but I think Brian Thomas is the third best receiver in here. I don't think he should have been a replacement. I think he should have been one of the people that got replaced.
what about like Lad McConkey?
Over Jerry Judy?
Jerry Judy did have 1,200 yards.
Yeah. So yeah, he deserves it.
Only 4 touchdowns though. Don't love that. Lad McConkey had a sneaky good year. He was a really good receiver.
But Lad McConkey over who?
Nico didn't play a full season. I don't know what his
I think
stats look
Nico's
like.
better than Lad McConkey though.
Oh, he's a better player. I don't know if he had a better year though, just because he's
Yeah,
hurt.
for to me, Pro Bowl should be just based on the year. It shouldn't be based on the value of the player name or something like that.
Right. I mean, Mahomes makes it every year then. Who I don't think he made it this year, which he didn't deserve to. His stats weren't great.
Yeah,
But if we went off just like best player, like he'd make it every year. You know what I mean?
because he's Patrick Mahomes.
Right. He's name value. I get you.
Man,
I guess yeah, Jerry Judy
Chiefs Pro Bowl.
sneakily.
This just in,
But
the Chiefs sent the refs to the Pro Bowl.
jeez,
That was
don't get
funny.
me started. Don't get me
That
started.
was funny. That was funny.
Um, Tight ends on the AFC. Brock Bowers,
Deserved.
best tight end in the NFL, deserves it. Travis
Wouldn't go
Kelsey
that far.
this year.
Sam Laporte is better.
I'm not taking your troll bait. Travis Kelsey, second place, who was being replaced by Jonnu Smith, obviously, because Travis Kelsey's in the Super Bowl. Jonnu Smith, sneaky good year.
Really, really
I think he
sneaky here.
finally found somebody who can use him or would use him. The one funny thing that I heard really quick was the fact that when him and Kyle Pitts were on the same team on the Falcons, and Arthur Smith was throwing the ball more to Jonnu Smith, and everybody was losing their minds. Like, why is the backup tight end getting more? Arthur Smith might have been onto something there. I think Jonnu Smith might be the better tight end.
I think John Smith's the better tight end, but Arthur Smith is just terrible. He needs to get out of the league, retire. Is he in the league anymore? I hope not.
I don't think he has a job right now because he was the Steelers offensive coordinator, but I don't
He
think he's
shouldn't be in
back.
a job. He shouldn't be in a job. So
I don't know if he came back or not.
he
I
shouldn't
haven't
be.
heard any news about them interviewing any offensive coordinator, so he could be back.
Terrible move. Terrible move. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say.
I can't be I can't say I'm a huge fan either. Now we get into the nitty gritty, the offensive lineman. Deion Dawkins from the Bills, one of the best offensive linemen, if not the best left tackle in the AFC. Get Laramie Tunsil from the Texans, Rashawn Slater from the Chargers. Tunsil will be missing the Pro Bowl, being replaced by Ronnie Stanley, which just surprised me. Ronnie Stanley hasn't really played a full season in how many years?
Too many.
Too many. I mean, he's just like name value at this point. He's like I can't think of any other left tackle. Like we'll just give it to Ronnie Stanley. I've heard his name before.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, the thing I'm seeing here is, hey, he was a replacement. Could
Mhm.
you give me another tackle in the AFC that would have been able to replace Laremy Tunsil? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here. If you can't come up with it, that's totally okay. I couldn't, is what I'm saying.
Top of my head. Trying to think of just the playoff teams. Trying to get some quick answers going here. I don't want to spend too much time thinking.
You got, I mean, Ron Stanley, the Baltimore Ravens tackle.
What about like Armstead from the Dolphins?
Yeah, that's a great pull there. Yeah, I mean, that's another name value, dude. I don't know how well he did this year, if I'm being
I don't know how
honest.
I'm just trying to think of like
Big
a
name
guy who's
guy.
been like a Pro Bowl level tackle in the past. I don't have no idea what kind of season he had. If you played a
Yeah,
full season, he's probably better than Ronnie Stanley. I'll tell you that much.
I agree. But the three tackles that they did choose without replacements, I like. I like all three of those guys. I mean, Laramie Tunsil, that dude has the most trade value ever in the world. Like that trade was insane. That the amount of value that, yeah. If you ever look that up, just look up the Laramie Tunsil trade recapped or something. That's insane. Deion Dawkins, a great tackle, and then Rashawn Slater, another great tackle for the Chargers. They hit
The
it here on the top.
Chargers are in good shape at the tackle position. You got
Really
Rashawn
good shape.
Slater at left tackle. You got Joe Alt at right tackle. They are set for the next 5 years before they got to repay Alt. So
Hmm.
good on them. Good on them.
Yep, I agree.
We gotta get
Guards.
moving. We're going a little too slow, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Guards. Let's hurry up this offensive line. No one cares about them. Guards. Quentin Nelson, Colts. Joe Thuney, Chiefs. Trey Smith, Chiefs. Biggest thing here is, hey, the Chiefs sent two guards. That's kind of insane.
They have two of the best guards in the NFL. That's
And if we go down to center, Creed Humphrey, also that's your interior's looking dirty, man. I'm kind of looking, hey, maybe this is why they are going to the Super Bowl for 3 years in a row. It's that offensive line. Control the trenches, control that line of scrimmage, and you control the game, as
yep.
many great coaches have said. So I think we're seeing a theme here in just Pro Bowls. Maybe the fans are onto something. Maybe what we said in the beginning is wrong.
Well, I'm not saying that they didn't vote in the right people. My argument was why are the people getting replaced getting credit for the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I said the fans were wrong. Maybe I was wrong. The backups or the other center that got took taken was Tyler Linderbaum. I actually am a huge fan of Tyler Linderbaum. He's the Ravens center. I really like him. He was one of the draft prospects I wanted the Seahawks to take. Seahawks never take anyone I ever want, so I think I'm just gonna start saying, "Hey, I want the Seahawks to take this guy." It's not gonna be a guy I want, then they'll take the guy I want. Mind games.
There you go. You show those Seahawks.
I will.
Jumping over to the defensive side of the ball. Miles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby. Max Crosby is being replaced by Daniel Hunter. No complaints here, even with the backup. Hunter is definitely the next best. So
Yeah.
I got no problems there.
Yeah.
Sneakily,
Yep.
sneakily good season. Trey Hendrickson
He's a DPOY.
never gets the credit he deserves.
DPOY candidate as well.
Yes, he is.
Interior line here. We got Cameron Hayward, Steelers, Chris Jones, Chiefs. There's that offensive line thing that we were just talking about, or just line of scrimmage that we were talking about. Sorry. And then, yeah,
Matabuke.
yeah, yeah. Thank,
So I'm looking up
appreciate you.
this. I'm looking up Matabuke's stats because I do not think he had a good season.
Yeah. Well, you do that. Chris Jones, of course, going to the Super Bowl. Quinnen Williams being the replacement, really like that. I think I'm a big Quinnen Williams fan. I think he was one of the only highlights on that Jets defense, besides like Sauce Gardner. But besides him, like there that defense was pretty weak. So Quinnen Williams, I like that pick.
He had 6.5 sacks.
TFLs.
I don't even show that for whatever reason.
The biggest thing to note is interior linemen aren't always the best stats wise. It's also what they do on tape. I mean, Aaron Donald.
Matabuke had 13 sacks last year, by the way. The year before, it was
Yeah, and then this
more.
year
He had double.
he starts getting doubled this year because he's gotten sacks. Like once you get recognition, you get doubled.
Yeah, but fans don't understand that being doubled is a good
Maybe
thing.
these fans do, man. The
It's
fans that vote
statues.
probably do. I don't know. I'm
He
just
sneakily had
saying.
a better year than I thought, was my point.
And interior lineman, it's harder to get stats as an interior lineman. I mean, Aaron Donald's rookie season, he popped off. He actually popped off every season. He was great for the stats, and that's why he was such a good defensive lineman. But you could definitely see a decline in stats wise once he started getting double teamed, and that's with anybody. But I mean, again, biggest Aaron Donald glazer over here. Interior linemen are very important and will not always show it on the stat sheet.
I'm with you. I am with you. Outside linebackers, we got Nick Bonito, breakout season for him. Had a great season with the Broncos. TJ Watt, obviously one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Khalil Mack, even at his old age, had a great season. TJ Watt's getting replaced by Kyle Van Noy, another old head who had a sneakily good season for the Ravens. Khalil Mack is getting replaced by Joey Bosa. I'm not as familiar with how his season went. I just know him by name value, and obviously he's always making plays on the field. But statistically wise, I don't know how good he did.
Yeah. Again, just looking off name value here, I think it's a great stuff. Middle backers, you got Roquan Smith and Zaire Franklin. Um, good picks. Roquan
Franklin's kind of an
Smith,
underrated guy, and not a lot of people know
oh
about him.
for sure. Colts. He used to be. What was his name before?
He's not even on the team anymore.
He
I
he was
can't
this. I
I
can't come
can't
up
think of
with
his
it
name.
either. Can't. Yeah. Yeah. You know who I'm
I know what
talking
you're
about.
talking about. He changed his name and then just
Yeah.
fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Zaire Franklin. He's a dog, underrated, and Roquan Smith. Uh, Another guy I was a big fan of. I hope the Seahawks would go get him. They didn't. Um, yeah, that's good middle backers there. Your corners, I really like what they did here with the corners. I think they hit it right on the head. Patrick Surtain, arguably the best corner in the league right now. What he was doing at Denver is insane. Derek Stingley, another great corner for the Texans. You got Marlon Humphrey and Denzel Ward. I think those are amazing corners, and I would say probably the four best corners in the AFC.
Yeah, I have no complaints with corners here. Derek Stingley, Pat Surtain, two of the best corners. Humphrey slid into the slot a little more this year for the Ravens. It excelled at it. He was great for them. Ward has just been a solid player for them, so no complaints there. Uh, Quickly, safeties, you got Minka Fitzpatrick on the Steelers, solid player. Then strong safety, you get Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James, two great people. So overall, for the AFC, I like everybody who was elected initially. I have no complaints really at all with any of them. Do we want to get into the long snapper? Jaguars, Ross,
No,
Dusich, Logan
no.
Cook, Chris Boswell, Marvin Mims, Brendan Schooler. Cool.
Wait, why do
Shout out to those
why do they
guys.
have a return specialist when it's flag football? They don't do kickoffs in flag football, do they?
No clue. Haven't watched the flag football game ever.
Me neither, but Someone leave that if like someone tell me. Do they do the kickoff? Like, why is there a return specialist if they're not doing kick? I don't.
Yeah, if somebody in the comments let us know who has seen it because I have yet to watch the flag football since
So do
they
I.
did it a
I
couple
haven't
years back,
watched it. I haven't
and
watched it either.
I have not once.
Guess we're
Sorry,
just not real football fans.
sorry. Jumping to the NFC. Um, Overall, again, I like a lot of these picks. I don't have a lot of complaints, so we'll fly through these quick. Jump over to the NFL honors, kind of finish up the episode, so we don't get too long winded for people. So Jared Goff, Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold was the NFC quarterbacks. Um, yeah, I can't complain at all. Jared Goff had a statistically great season. Jaden Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the league after the first year. And Sam Darnold put up top 10 numbers at quarterback. Can't complain there. The thing that's
I
weird to me is Jaden
agree.
Daniels isn't going.
Yeah, I think as a rookie, like you try to go, but
Yeah, just trying to get your name out there, talk to people. I don't know. Baker Mayfield's replacing Jaden Daniels. Baker also had a great season. I wouldn't have been pissed if Baker would have replaced Sam Darnold. I could crapshoot there for me. So
agree. Running backs, Saquon Barkley. Bet you could have guessed. Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs. I agree with all
yeah,
three, and I agree with the replacement for Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson. As everyone that knows, I'm a big Bijan Robinson fan. Loved what he did this year. Agree with him being the replacement. Love the running backs.
yeah. We already touched on Kyle Juszczyk at fullback. No need to go down that rabbit hole again. We'll jump
Can't
straight to wide receivers. Justin Jefferson deserves it. Amon Ra, St. Brown, who's being replaced by Malik Neighbors. Good for Neighbors. CeeDee Lamb being replaced by Mike Evans. Another 1,000 yards a year for Mike Evans. And like 12
well,
touchdowns, something like that.
yeah.
Double digit touchdowns for sure. So great year by Mike Evans. Terry McLaurin being replaced by JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Shout out to him. Love to see that, even though shouldn't count on his stat sheet. Does, whatever.
I do agree with him being the replacement, though. I think he was well deserved. I mean, he had a great year. He was the center point of that Seahawks offense.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, he'd be the what, seventh receiver?
Yeah,
If Malik Neighbors was the first substitute, Mike Evans was the second substitute, he'd be the third substitute. That'd make him wide receiver seven in voting. I mean, that checks out.
I think they did it great. Again, tight ends, George Kittle, Trey McBride. All I gotta
Trey
say is Sam Laporta
McBride,
got snubbed.
up and coming guy.
All I gotta say is Sam Laporta got snubbed.
No, he didn't.
Sam Laporta is the best tight end we've ever seen.
Oh, come on. Moving
All
off
I
of the
gotta
tackle,
say.
you have Lane Johnson, Penei Sewell, Tristan Wirfs. Love it. These are the three best tackles in the NFC, undisputed. I don't care what anybody else says. That is just incorrect. These are the three best tackles in the NFC. So Lane Johnson is getting replaced by Brian O'Neill on the Vikings. Penei Sewell is being replaced by Taylor Decker on his teammate on the Lions, which is kind of funny.
Kind of ironic, yeah.
Um, and then Wolves will be going. So
Yeah,
really good tackle class.
yeah. Guards, you got Landon Dickerson, Eagles, Trey Smith, or Tyler Smith. Sorry, Trey Smith is the other one. Tyler Smith, Cowboys, and Chris Lindstrom from the Falcons. Like it all here. Um, great. Landon Dickerson is being replaced by Robert Hunt of the Panthers. I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's the only Panthers Pro Bowler now.
Yeah, unless there's like a special team that snuck by me.
Yeah, but I believe that is the only Panthers Pro Bowler. So
That is true. That is true. Shout out to the Eagles, similar to the Chiefs, having three Pro Bowlers on the offensive line. They got Lane Johnson, they got Landon Dickerson, and they have Frank Ragnow.
I think we're seeing a theme.
I was just gonna say he got a good offensive line. I mean, it blows my mind that people don't respect the trenches that much. Like
I mean,
that's
as
first and foremost way you're gonna win.
the reason why is because they aren't Seahawk fans and they haven't put up with the horrendous offensive line that me and you have had to watch for the past years of our lives.
It's been a while since the Seahawks haven't had a good offensive line since they probably won the Super Bowl last.
the Seahawks having a good offensive line is like seeing a unicorn. It never happens.
True. So the centers, Frank Ragnow, Detroit Lions, Cam Jurgens from the Eagles. I said Frank Ragnow from the Lions when I meant to say Cam Jurgens earlier from the Eagles. Just want to clarify that. I said there were three Eagles. Cam Jurgens is the one, not Frank Ragnow. Um, Cam Jurgens being replaced by Eric McCoy on the Saints. Yeah, not too much to touch on there. Again, I think they got kind of the voting right. So
Yeah. Defensive end, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary. Mike Parsons is the shoe, and Micah Parsons is a game wrecker. Nick Bosa, I'm a fan of because I saw it firsthand. Nick Bosa, when he was out of the game, 49ers struggled immensely, and when he was in the game, they were amazing. He did still have a good year, even though he missed some time. Nick Bosa deserves it. I can't say I have much to say about Rashawn Gary. I'm not very well known on Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary had a breakout year last year,
Last year, yeah.
and then this year I don't feel like he was that productive.
I don't know. I can't. You look that up. I will move on to the interior alignment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Interior lineman, you got Jalen Carter, dog, another Eagles. We are seeing a massive theme here. It's control the line of scrimmage. You go to the Super Bowl. Jalen Carter, second year, I think, out of college, dog. He's playing amazing. Dexter Lawrence, or I would argue, probably the best interior defensive lineman in the NFC. You could argue in the league. Dexter Lawrence is up there. He's a dog. And Vita Vea, oh, yeah, Vita Vea is also there. That guy's massive, fills up gaps. Vita Vea is a great tackle. And then Jalen Carter is being replaced by Leonard Williams. Again, going back to the Seahawks, still me. Leonard Williams deserves this, man. I think you agree with me here. Leonard Williams was the keystone of this defense. I know Spoon was he actually got in. He didn't wasn't a replacement. I thought Leonard Williams deserved the Pro Bowl more than Spoon. I thought Leonard Williams had a much better year than Spoon. Leonard Williams is, I would argue, probably the best player on the Seahawks.
Oh, for sure. Rashawn Gary had 7.5 sacks, so not bad, not ecstatic. I mean, it's just kind of his best year is 9.5 sacks. I mean,
Not very much of a passer. He must help in the run game as well.
yeah, he's more like a defensive end, like a true big
Mm.
can set the edge and whatnot. Back to Leonard Williams. This is going to sound really biased, just coming from a Seahawks fan, but I would argue that Leonard Williams was the top two interior defensive linemen in the league this year. Him and Dexter Lawrence were one and two. I could if you could convince me either way that they were both the best, and I would be there.
You
Yeah,
got me
it's
convinced.
fine.
Got me
Leonard
convinced.
Williams was robbed of a Pro Bowl vote here, but he got it anyways. It's going to count on the
Um,
stat sheet.
I know
I,
we're talking about NFL honors later, and you were
yep.
talking about comeback player of the year terms. We don't really know what comeback player of the year is.
Yeah, I
Would
haven't
Leonard
figured that out.
Williams would Leonard Williams count for comeback player of the year?
Well, if anybody can get in, why not?
Because like Leonard Williams before this year on the Giants, he's been always kind of good, and then this year he's insane. He's getting pick sixes off of Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so at the beginning of this season, the criteria for the award was changed to emphasize players coming back from an illness, physical injury, or circumstance that led him to miss playing time the previous season. That's all it says.
We will touch on that later.
Well, yeah, we'll jump on that.
All right, outside backers. The biggest thing here is both outside backers for the Minnesota Vikings made it, and that is Jonathan Greenard and Andrew Van Ginkel. That's great. Good for the Vikings. And then Jared Verse, I'm a big Jared Verse fan. He's on the Rams. I hate him, but I love him at the same time. I like him as a player. I hate him also as a player because he's on the Rams. Does that make sense?
Andrew Van Ginkel needs to get some respect put on his name. That dude is amazing. I He can kind of do it all. He's not your true traditional pass rusher, but he can get after the quarterback. He can also
He can
drop into
cover.
coverage at a very
Yep,
effective rate. He had several interceptions, and I think a couple pick sixes. At least one for sure. I think he had two though. Dude is a great football player. So
for
great,
sure.
good on him. Glad he got drafted. He got voted in. No complaints there.
Yeah. Inside backer, you got Fred Warner. I think you could say Fred Warner is the best middle linebacker in the league.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you kind of have to, I guess.
Yeah. And then Zach
Roquan
Bond.
Smith.
Yeah, I think those are one and two. I think you could
That's
sit. Yeah.
yeah.
I think Fred Warner's one though. And then Zach Bond. And I bet you if you weren't watching football closely, you never heard of this guy. Because I didn't before this year. If you're a middle linebacker that wants to learn how to play middle linebacker, watch Zach Bond's tapes.
He's a little
This guy,
undersized too. He makes up for it though.
he's undersized. He's not the most athletic guy on that field, but he plays and he plays hard and he's fun to watch. He's a great player, and I'm so glad he got noticed by everybody and he's in the Pro Bowl. He decided not to play in the Pro Bowl. Don't know the reason. Again, don't know the guy personally. Bobby Wagner comes in and fills that spot. Bobby Wagner, ex-Seahawk, I think he has a special place in both me and your hearts. Just happy to see him successful on the Commanders and in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner always holds a special place in my heart. I can't. Is what it is. They should retire his number as a Seahawks fan. 54 should be retired. I don't know the criteria for how they need to, and all the ones that are retired were Seahawk lifers. They didn't play anywhere else, so that'll probably play into their decision. Good for Bobby. Good for Zach Bond, who got elected in originally. So cornerbacks: Jalen Johnson on the Bears, Byron Murphy on the Vikings, J.C. Horn on the Panthers, Devin Witherspoon on the Seahawks.
So J.C. Horn is on the Panthers. I forgot he made the Pro Bowl. I am a big fan of J.C. Horn.
I like
Um,
the talent. They just needed a second guy, take the pressure off them.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. And then Jalen Johnson's been a star for that Bears defense. I mean, he's kind of the only person over there anchoring it right now. Byron Murphy, that Minnesota Vikings defense was great. BC Horn, like you said, need another guy. And then we touched on Spoon a little bit. Of course, I'm happy that Spoon made the Pro Bowl. Does he deserve it? Yes. I just said Leonard Williams deserved it more, and I think he does.
Right. Definitely. Free safety, Xavier McKinney, fantastic year for the Packers. Had a ton of interceptions. Strong safeties, Buda Baker, Brian Branch and the Lions. Brian Branch had a breakout season for the Lions. All deserving of it. I got nothing to say there. We'll quickly buzz through the special teamers. Andrew DePorla for the Vikings, long snapper. No, never heard of him.
Just skip over it.
Jack Fox, Detroit Lions, Brandon Aubrey, Cavante Turbin, Kaderil Hodge, Falcons. All right. Good work. That's the Pro Bowl. We spent a little way longer time on that than I was anticipating.
Sorry about that. We get a
Won't be like
little.
just us listing off names and talking about if they had a good season or not.
Some people do. NFL honors the MVP of the league. Let me list off the candidates. You got Josh Allen, quarterback for the Bills. Saquon Barkley, running back for the Eagles. Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Bengals. Jared Goff, quarterback for the Lions. And Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Ravens.
Saquon Barkley deserves this award. He will not get it, but he should get it. After watching what he's done in the playoffs for the Eagles, he is part of the reason they're as good as they are. Him being able to
For
break one
sure.
and take it to the house on any given play, him breaking several tackles, he's great.
And I 100% agree. He's great, and we also see it in the offensive line. We just saw it went over Pro Bowls. That offensive line's amazing. And what happens when you compare and when you make the best running back in the league? I think no one can argue against that. I think Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league. You take the best running back in the league and you put him behind the best offensive line in the league. What do you think's gonna happen, man?
Yeah,
It's gonna,
what do you expect?
yeah, it's what you expect is what he did, and yeah, Saquon Barkley, if he doesn't get Most Valuable Player of the Year, he better get Offensive Player of the Year. Others,
He
I will
will.
riot. I will
I
riot if
think
he
he will.
doesn't. Do I think will really get MVP? I am a Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen guy. I think Lamar Jackson deserves it.
think my vote would be Josh Allen. Let's just start there. I think Saquon Barkley deserves it. I would vote Josh Allen. I think Lamar's going to win it.
I'll agree with that 100%. The most valuable player is Josh Allen, or the most valuable player is Saquon. The
Yep.
second most valuable player is Josh Allen. The most, the best player, if that makes sense, the player that had the best season is Lamar.
Right. Numbers wise and all that. That's why it's going to play into it. Is Lamar's going to win it because of that. Even though Josh Allen beat Lamar with a worse offense.
Yeah,
Tells
I
you what
agree
you
with that.
need to know.
I agree with that. Defense player of the year. Who you got? I'll name off the candidates. Zach Bond, Philadelphia Eagles linebacker. Myles Garrett, the Browns defensive end. Trey Hendrickson, Bengals defensive end. Patrick Surtain, Broncos corner, and then T.J. Watt, Pittsburgh Steelers edge.
Trey Hendrickson deserves this award. I kind of briefly touched on this when we were talking about Pro Bowl. He is people don't give him enough credit for what he's been doing. I think he led the league in sacks.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, so I hope he wins it. He would be my vote, and I think he should win it. So I'm hoping that's who wins it.
I agree. I think Trey Hendrickson, I hope wins it. I also think Patrick Surtain might win it as well. He had a great year.
They don't like giving those awards to corners for whatever reason. It's always pass rusher just because it's a more important position. Never
Offensive
understood.
player of the year. We already touched on who we think is going to win. Saquon Barkley is going to win it. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. Those are your candidates.
I'd be all right with Joe Burrow winning it too.
I agree.
He had a really good season.
I think Jamar
Uh,
Chase too.
yeah, you could argue Jamar Chase. Derrick Henry had a fantastic year. If Lamar Jackson doesn't win MVP, I mean, I'd be fine with him winning this award. All of these contenders, I have no problem winning this award. I hope Saquon wins it though. He
Yeah.
deserves it.
Uh, Offensive rookie of the year. Now I know we said Jaden Daniels. I
I'm not changing my answer.
I still think Jaden Daniels wins, but I do think Brock Bowers does make a good case.
Sure. Yeah,
I could see. I would be fine with
I
both
would
of them.
listen to an argument for it, but you're not going to change my mind that Jaden Daniels deserves this.
I I think you could convince me of Brock Bowers.
You could not.
I think Jaden Daniels is the better rookie. And just throwing it out there, Brian Thomas is a dog. He's a
Oh,
candidate.
for sure. For sure.
Big Brian Thomas fan over here. Defensive rookie of the year. This one's a little harder. You don't have a
Not
instant
to
winner.
me.
No, not to you,
Nope.
really. You got Cooper DeJean, Eagles. Braden Fisk. I think I said that right, correct?
Yep.
Rams, Quinion Mitchell, Eagles, Chop Robinson, Dolphins, and Jared Verse, Rams. Just want to point it out here that the Rams and the Eagles had a pretty damn good draft class, huh?
That they did. That they did.
So
Jared
who's
Verse
gonna win
wins
it?
this.
Yeah, I agree. Okay,
Yeah,
just
I
making
don't. It's not a lot of competition for me. It's pretty.
love Jared Verse, like I just said. Hate the player, love the player too. If
I
he's
didn't
on
think he
any
was gonna
other,
be good either. Before the season started, I said I thought he was gonna be a bust. So that's
I think I said he was gonna be good.
you
Correct me.
did. You
Yeah,
did. The NFC West preview. Long
first
time ago.
episode. First episode.
I think you're right.
Wow, what a throwback, man.
Comeback. Full circle moment.
Full complete circle. Yeah, he hated on Jared Verse. I like Jared Verse. Just wish he wasn't on the Rams.
I hear you.
Comeback player of the year. We
This is
talked.
where this is just this one's just weird to me.
Okay, I'm gonna name off some players and I'm gonna say who I think should win based on what you. If you want to read what you said again,
It said circumstances due to illness, injury, or a circumstance that basically held a player out from playing last year.
okay. So that does not, in that definition to me, that means they didn't go from bad to good. To me, that's the most improved player. I think that should be an
Correct. It's
award
not
though.
improved. It's just comeback. Like, they're
I do
coming
believe
back.
the most improved award should be a thing. Like in the NBA, I think the most improved player should be an award. That's just me personally. Comeback player of the year, you got Joe Burrow, Sam
Yep.
Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, and DeMar Hamlin. I
I think you
think Christian.
have
I
Did
think
you about to say Christian Gonzalez?
yes,
I feel like you have to give it to Sam Darnold
he
for the
wasn't
season that
injured.
he had.
He wasn't injured.
Yeah, but he had a circumstance for not playing because he wasn't good. And now all of a sudden he came
That's
back
not a
and was good again.
circumstance. That's
He
that's the
was
most improved player.
he came back and was good again.
That's a most improved player. It is. I think
I,
Sam Darnold will win it. I
I don't
think he
know.
will win
It's
it.
a dumb award. That's who I'm voting for.
Christian Gonzalez should win it.
I could care. I could not care less about who wins this award.
All right. I don't think we're gonna touch on assistant coach of the year. At
No,
least I don't think
we'll
we're gonna.
finish on Coach of the Year.
Coach of the year. You got Dan Campbell, Lions, Kevin O'Connell, Vikings, Sean Payton, Broncos, Dan Quinn, Commanders, Andy Reid, Chiefs.
So my criteria for this, it's similar to like what we talked about for like MVP, right? It's like who impacts their team the most. Which coach took a team that was expected to do the worst
I
and
bet you I
made
can
them
tell
the
you right
best?
now. Dan Quinn.
I would argue it's tough for me. I'm gonna say Sean Payton only because nobody even gave the Broncos a chance.
No one gave the Commanders the chance except for you.
Yeah, well, I knew this was gonna happen. So this isn't like
That's why I think Dan Quinn.
I he deserves it, but I would also argue that Sean Payton deserves it too. Because who thought Bo Nix and the Broncos were gonna make the playoffs?
Well, I mean, everyone here on the candidate list, I think, deserves it.
I don't think Dan Campbell or Andy Reid deserve it.
I think they are both great coaches that are always should be candidates for Coach of the Year.
Right, but that's if the Chiefs are expected to make the playoffs and Andy Reid takes them to the Super Bowl, like the jump between making playoffs and the Super Bowl is not nearly as drastic as the team going supposed to win 5 games makes the
It's a good
playoffs.
point. That's a great
You know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah, I do agree with the Sean Payton, Dan Quinn. I just think Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Again, you could convince me either way. I also like Kevin O'Connell. People didn't give
Vikings
him
were
really a chance
underrated.
with Sam Darnold, and he's like, "No, I'll show you. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to turn him into a star." So I would be fine with Kevin O'Connell winning
And
this
then
award,
lead first round of the playoffs, but no one touches on that.
right? Which is why he lost me there. If they would have won a game or two in playoffs, he probably would have swung my vote his way. If they would have had like a Dan Quinn type run, I think Kevin O'Connell would have been my vote.
And I think that's why Dan Quinn is my vote.
That's which is fair. Fair enough.
Yeah. With that, I think all the awards are covered, and our Pro Bowl ramble is covered as well. So I think that will bring our episode
If
to
you
an
like the
end
Pro
here.
Bowl.
Hey, if you didn't like the Pro Bowl, I am very sorry. For two people that hate the Pro Bowl, we
We
sure
talked
did talk a
we
lot.
talked a lot about the Pro Bowl, even though we don't like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I think we might have some problems. That's all right. I think you guys already knew that. Um, we'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed the watch. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.